Hey, you guys. So I'm not going to get super fancy or anything or get ready, but I'm having one of those like stoner moments where I'm having so many thoughts and the spirit's like, just put your camera on. And I'm like, okay, I have to go like this because I don't want my shirt to open. um, so I'm still cooking off that original tomato soup from the beginning of September. And in real time, it's October 12th, 2025. And I've decided to add, tofu to it. And don't worry, I just washed my hands. Don't worry, like you're gonna eat it. I know sometimes I laugh if I get all hospital corners, on things because of working in restaurants and bars for years, and all states have their different regulations, but I get like really weird about it, like, not touching things that, and making sure I go like this and get any germs off my fingers. Okay, can we just start and talk about Diane Keaton? They're gonna go. We're all gonna die, but ugh, this one is really tough. I felt like that was a Caitlin Riley moment, by the way. I love her. Um, yeah, Diane Keaton's a tough one. She and it warms my heart so much to hear people say that she's everything you think she'd be and then some. I love that. The last picture of her with her golden retriever, like 4 days before she died, I was like, I can't. I've been lighting candles for her. I actually want to start. I'm starting to cry, so let's not talk about it. But I just want to dedicate this episode to her because she really changed my life in a million ways, and I know she did for so many people, especially women. So, on a lighter note, let's cook some tofu. Oh, it makes me laugh. I remember growing up, my family would be like, they're not real. And I'm like, well, of course they're real. They're real people. And my mom would say, I know, but I'm saying like, she'd say, don't get so upset. Hold on, I got to open a window. Okay, I'm really trying to pull it together, but I started like bawling again. So I need a few minutes. This is like really gutting me. I'm not kidding you. It's a tough one. It's like there are certain people, like I won't even say their names now because I really need to meet them. I mean, I'm sure. I forgot it was olive oil. I don't use olive oil that much. I use avocado and coconut like way more. But I was told to get that. And I forgot. That's why I was like, oh, but whatever, It just has a different flash point, that like smoke. I love olive oil, but the fattier, it's different kinds of fats, like olive fat and coconut meat fat are just different. But anyway, I digress. So it's kind of funny because I don't even remember why I was doing this, but I know that I meant to do this. So I'm just having so many breakthroughs. I did a podcast Prophet. I haven't posted it yet. But I did a podcast Prophet after my readings at the Witches Walk fundraiser. And so much happened. I spoke about it in that. I'll put a link in the description box if Spirit called me to. If not, I'm sure I'll say something about it in the title. I know already that it had something in the title like, would the real me stand up or something like that? Because honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I just am really struggling with like who I am. And it's not because, I should say, I feel like there's struggle around me about who others are, but I know who I am, but I'm staying around this energy that is not conducive to who and what I am. And it's a deep struggle. It's a really, really, really deep struggle because I have felt like an outsider since I was born. And I spoke about it in the last podcast, Prophet. That's why I said, would the real me stand up? And I feel like I want to expound on it and talk about it a little more, because I did that video almost 48 hours ago. And maybe 36, I don't know, somewhere in there. And I've still like gone through so much and changed so much. And it's literally at the point where it's like hour by hour. 1 hour, I'm crying. I love Alder. I want to be with him. I'm going to do everything in my power to make this work. I'm going to do this. This is my challenge, but I know I can do it. You know, blah, blah, blah. And then I have other moments where I'm just like, girl, have you lost your fucking shit? You are beautiful. You are awesome. You are magic. You can have anyone you want. Why are you putting up with this fucking chump, this fool? I mean, I was just thinking back on like a lot of moments that happened at the fundraiser. It was just so crazy. It was just so crazy. I spoke about it in the podcast, so I'll only just kind of like link on a little bit for context. But on the way there, a stag literally like ran out in front of our car. I had to yell for Alder to stop, and the stag and Alder stopped at the same time. And if there was a car coming the other way, that stag would have been gone. But it was all meant to be and everything. And I was like, ooh, I'm coming here for men, because I was getting all ready. I was so excited to color my hair and get all pretty and put makeup on and do the whole thing. And they were like, no. And now it's like everything that happened, I mean, just so much shit happened. And I realized that we're all still in this shadow energy. Third quarter moon's in a few days in real time. Actually, it's either tomorrow or Tuesday, I don't remember. Which tomorrow's my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mama. She would have been 77. 7's my life path number, and another lucky number besides 13. Yeah, just like weird fucking shit has been happening, and I'm feeling really empowered. In some moments, I have compassion for Alder, and I'm like wishing him well, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Like, let him go find his way. Like, you know, maybe he is like, what if he is like some leader for the shadow energy? And I'm telling him, oh, we're twin flames, and you're supposed to be light, just because I can see his soul. But like, what if I'm blinded by what I want or think I want? You know what I mean? Like, I really am getting into this and getting to the underbelly, because the thought of him coming into this house, the smoke is choking me. Literally. Literally. I'm opening the door and bringing some air in. But it's crazy. It's crazy what's happening right now. And it's nothing that we've endured or seen or dealt with before, because this is a different time. This is a different place. I had this really intense conversation with this Lemurian, which one of my favorite things to do when I read for people in person is to put out an altar, and I go through all of my stones and my crystals. I go through everything with spirit and my pendulum. And a lot of times I feel it, but then I make sure and I confirm it, and then I'm like, did I miss anything? And then I ask the person to pick something from the table that they're drawn to. And it was so interesting, because my first reading was lapis lazuli, and my second one was Lemurian. And I was like, dude, you fucking chose the Lemurian crystal. I'm like, that's really serious. Not many people, you know, because there was a big fat quartz crystal there too. You know, spirit almost always has them come together and then like near each other, because a lot of people, especially if they're either new or like they're spiritual but they're not like really into crystals, but they're aware of them, they know what they look like, you know, a lot of times people will go to like amethyst or clear quartz crystal, like, you know, kind of the basic ones. So when they go for something like the Lemurian starseed, even if they think it's a crystal, their intuition is that. So if you are drawn to a Lemurian starseed, most likely, like 99.9% of the time, you're a Lemurian, or you're descended from them in some way, shape, or form. So, which would make you one, I guess. So anyway, it was just really powerful. All of the readings were really powerful, and I'm having all of these breakthroughs about things that happened and transpired. And I just don't know, like, this stuff with Alder is just kind of crazy. I have to be honest, it's kind of crazy for me, because I don't know. It goes back and forth, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, he was really gung-ho. Like, he was on it. He was excited. He was really excited. I can feel it. I know he was trying, like, really, really trying, or at least his mind, like, was like, okay, because I was like, dude, Spirit's only going to give us so much time on this. You got to kind of pull your shit together. I said, I can't help you, but I ended up finding, like, all these things from, when we were going through the remodeling, I was going through all these closets and throwing shit away, and I found all of this information from all of his different therapy sessions and over the years. And so after we had this very honest, very loving conversation, at the end, when he was getting ready to leave, I'm like, Spirit wanted me to give these to you. And I was like, I'm like, you have the tools, I'm like, before you didn't have the tools. I'm like, but now you have the tools. I'm like, if you, it's like when you have to want to change. And if you don't want to change, nothing's going to change. So that is my sadness for this situation, because I feel like I was 100% honest with him. And he is used to me being like, baby, come on, like, blah, 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 like that kind of thing. And I love you. And this time I've been like, hey, you know what? I don't really want to be with you either. I'm like, but for some reason, we're still tethered together. And I'm like, this is what we need to do. And, he's in the narcissist energy right now, really hardcore. So it's like, I'm not going to kiss his ass or do the things that I would normally do before, or play the mind games or whatever to kind of reel him back in. Now I'm like, no, dude, you're a fucking adult. You know what to do. You know what not to do. Like, I cannot do this for you. Like, you have to do this yourself. I want you here, but like, I realize that I've been under so much stress for several months, years really. And it hit me that I was so excited to do this event on Friday, and I really did want to go to the parade yesterday. But then when I woke up yesterday morning and I could just feel how wiped I was, and I got sleep and everything, but I was wiped. I was like, I'm not going today, And yesterday and today it was like rainy and crappy weather, like in the 50s, like chilly. I rewatched the whole Twilight series. I just like turned off my phone. I was like, I'm just going to watch Twilight. And that's all I did. It was so nice. And I, some Good Witch stuff in between there. But I've just been staying in my bubble. I haven't been posting that much just because I've been staying in my bubble. And then it occurred to me, just how his shadow came back, and he's been so mean to me. I spoke about it on the last podcast, Prophet. And I'm just like, man, I am really done with that. And I said to Spirit, I'm like, I do not want him here. I don't want him here. I don't want him in my home. I don't want him anywhere near me. And he knows that. He knows that. And I believe that's why this shadow is acting out like this, because it knows me. It knows what I will and will not put up with. So it's pushing my buttons. So I said to Spirit, I don't believe he should be in here until he genuinely wants to be in here. And I don't know, I mean, I'm hoping, I'm always hopeful. I'm always going to be a forever optimist. So my heart is saying, we got another month until we're out of this dark moon and the shadow of it. And I really think by like the second, third week in November, we're all going to start feeling a little bit lighter. So I don't know exactly what's going to go down, but I'm doing everything in my power. Just go with the flow. Just go daily. But there's some pretty intense shit that's been like going around. And I can just feel it. I can just feel it. I can feel like something is coming, and I don't know what it is 100%, but there's a reason why we're still tethered, and I just don't know. Some days I'm like, he's going to come back from this. Other days I'm like, he's so far gone. Like, I don't even know this guy. Because when I met Alder, he was on a genuine spiritual path. I believe him. Drink some water. I believe him because when we met, I mean, everything, it was just so divine. And our ancestors brought us together. And they really introduced us to each other on a higher level when we went to Mount St. Helens. And it was so profound. And that's another story for another day, but it's just this, it doesn't want to let him go. Because it knows that this time it will not be able to come back. So right now, only he can decide, is he going to go that way or is he going to go this way? He'll always end up where he's going to end up, you know? And I think that's why I feel so take it or leave it. It's not that I don't love him, because I do. I mean, I love him like a romance novel, you know what I mean? I do. And I know that what we have is magical and special. But when you're dealing with an addiction, that shit doesn't fucking matter. If the addiction is stronger than the soul, it's either going to crush him in this lifetime and carry it over to the next, or he will be the lineage breaker, which I believe that he is. And so he's either my twin flame in disguise, you know what I mean? Like, where it's like, oh, of course, because he's the sun and the moon and the Gemini and the Sand. You know what I mean? I can go through all of it, the numerology of it, how we met, where, you know what I mean? But it was all meant to be. So that was all orchestrated the way it was supposed to be orchestrated. That's not the issue. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, so close. The issue is the turbulence. So I feel like they're trying to get me to just go with the flow, go with the flow, go with the flow, go with the flow. That's like the energy I get from them all the time. Just go with the flow. So I'm doing that, but there are days and there are times where I'm just like, how do I do it? Like, show me how. This is so hard, you know? And one of my guides was like, your soul and your spirit is so pure and so beautiful that everything will happen exactly in the time it's supposed to. They're like, you have to trust in that. And the truth is, I do. Because when I don't trust myself, that's going back to an old version of me that didn't trust myself. But I do trust myself now. It like went right in my eyeball. And my intuition is scattered right now, which is not normal for me. But I think I believe it's scattered because I'm trying to control it. So it's like it's like my powers and my gifts are getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and I feel that, like, I feel the protection of the angels and the dragons. Like, I feel so powerful, but yet there's still this, side of me that's like, like there's this part of me that's still working through stuff, still healing, still, feeling unworthy, feeling untethered, because I can't understand it. I can't understand it. I understand addiction, and I understand that it's different for everybody. But me personally, I'm a very monogamous person, and watching Twilight made me realize, like, that's who I am. I'm somebody who would, like, mate for lifetimes, I'm grateful for every person that's ever crossed my path in any romantic or sexual or, any way in that context. But when it comes to, like, spending my life with somebody, I want it all. And if I can't have it all, I'd rather be alone. And so that's why right now I do love him unconditionally, but I also love myself. And so I'm kind of at this place where I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I mean, the last few times I really just, I came back here and I said to Spirit, can I just give him a list? And we don't even have to look at each other. We don't even have to see each other. And, I feel really blessed now because I do have some new friends here. And I bet if I was like, hey, I need to get out of here for the day because he needs to work on the house. Can you take me to the laundromat and, drop me off or whatever? Like, he can say, yeah, I'm done. And I can be like, okay, cool, thanks, But I just get this vibe that they're like, nope. And I'm like, oh, the girl's like, because that's a comfort zone. That'd be the easy way out. They're like, you can't take the easy way out. They're like, it's not like that. So, all right. So I'm going to fry up this tofu. It's going to be so tasty, and then I'm going to put it in the rest of this soup. And that new batch of tomatoes is probably nice and ready to go. So this is a big week. I've been having so much going on, and I realized, yeah, October's always so busy for me. For me, I don't know about you guys, but it seems to go every other month. And it makes sense, because like October is the harvest, which is what it has been. I've been getting all of my stuff in for the winter and, getting prepared and making soups and stocks and like doing all these really cool, fun things that I like to do. Then I was, preparing for the witch's walk and, going through all of that and just really powerful. Now this week I have to get going on the yard. My landlord's like, dude, it's looking rough. I'm like, in my defense, I'm like, I've tried to do it. I go, the times that I could do it are the days it was pouring rain. I'm like, I'm not just saying that. And he's like, I know. I said, because he knows the weather's been all over the fucking place lately. So, I said, it's supposed to be really nice next week. I said, I got it down. Alder's going to come by, which I have to message him. I do have to message him about that because I just can't put the gas in the gas tank. I've tried, and it's heavy, and it stinks, and even though with my gloves on and everything got all over me, not fun. And he's got to change the weed eater string. And I'm hoping this will be my last time. I might have to do it one more time before the end of the year. So I've got that going on this week, and I got to get to those tomatoes and get that other new soup stock started. I think I might try and make some salsas as well. I'm thinking about doing some salsas and freezing them. Yeah. Or if I do a salsa, I might not have to freeze it because it would probably last quite a while if I do it like a probiotic style. got my noggin going. I have to look up some tomato stuff. It's been really fun. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm in here. I'm like, whistle while you work, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with somebody who I'm like, hey, and they're like, meh. You know, I'm like, I'm a happy person. I like being a happy person. I enjoy being a happy person. I'm really not in a bah humbug. I don't want to hang out with a bah humbug all the time. That's super depressing. And my heart feels for him. I love him, but I feel like I could take it for so long and then I'd be like, yeah, no. So I'm really hopeful that he will just come of his own accord because he wants to come home. I'm really hoping that after this shadow that maybe if he does another round of his, you know, his homemade ayahuasca, that he'll have another breakthrough and that'll kind of bring him back, I hope. We'll see. I'm hopeful. But if not, we are going to definitely get the wood stove in this year. I said to him, like, we have to. Because last year we had a propane heater and the electric heater. This year we only have electric heaters. In this area, sometimes the power goes out. Not all the time. But off and on over the winter. Last winter was the worst. Last winter was the worst because we were right off the water. And actually, the last 2 winters, we were off the water the last 2 or 3 winters. But last winter was really bad because we were in like this valley area. And long story short, these gale force, we were having 32 mile per hour winds coming through. So yeah, I mean, my landlord and I were talking about this the other day. I'm like, I mean, I know it's expensive, but still, it's like, I don't know why they're not underground. It's crazy. Like, you're up in this, like, you know, we're in the Puget Sound, you know? It's like, we're in between, we're literally in the middle of, like, all mountain ranges and an ocean. So, it's like, it makes sense when the wind gets trapped in here. It reminds me of, do you ever see Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer when they go to look for the abominable and they have that really big windstorm? That's how it is here. It gets fucking crazy. That's what it reminds me of. And you can hear it too. Like the other night we had a windstorm that was so bad it was like shaking the house, and I was like, whoa, because we've always had this on like support things, and because all the land we were on before was like not super steady, but the land here is like built on a bedrock basically, so it's super steady. But I know he's not going to want to hear this, but I think we're going to have to put it up on boards for the winter, because the other night I was like, my little Barbie rig was like, it was like somebody was going like this, like, hey, like a giant was like playing with my house. I was like, no, it's not fun. It's not fun. And you know, before Bubba would like come and curl up with me or Alder or all three of us, but by myself it's not as fun. So I would like him to come, you know, back here for the winter. It'd be nice. Fuck, I miss him. You know, that's the hard part. I miss him so much, but it's been, I guess that's my difficult part, is I have to be nice. I mean, I'm nice, but it's just, it's exhausting. And it really, I know it has nothing to do with me, but it hurts my heart so much. It just hurts my tender heart that just loves him. And it's just like, what the fuck, man? Like what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? There's obviously a part of you that loves me. But like, what is that part of you that's so mean? It's an old pattern. I carried a lot of anger for a long time from my side of the family, especially from my mom. And I realized over the last year, I finally broke free. I swear when my mom died, it's like it broke some type of something. At least with me it did. I don't know if it did with anybody else in our family, but it did with me. I went through some anger after Baba died, of course, you know, natural shit. And I have been going through anger stuff with him, of course, but not in the way I have in the past. This is so different. It's like, it's so different. And I can feel that it's different. And I think that's another reason why he's fucking with me and being mean to me, because he doesn't know what to do. I'm not doing the things. Over the whole entire time, I've done all these different things, but this time I'm not doing things. I'm not reacting or overreacting, or I go to, but then I work through it, and I, you know, like the other day I went to leave him a message on the phone. I left it, I listened to it, I was over it, deleted it, hung up. You know what I mean? Like, I got it out, went into the orbit, into the energy. I'm sure he felt I was upset, but then when we saw each other, when we spoke, I was like, hey, what's up, you know? But I wasn't, I'm like, but I'm not like that. I'm like, hey, I'm always like nice about it, because I don't know. Again, call me naive. I really do believe he's going to find his way. I do. And if that's naive, then that's naive. But I do believe he's going to find his way. I don't know how. I don't know when. I don't know where. I'm drying my pillows on the radiator heater. But I feel it. I do. I really do. Anyway, I've just had a lot of breakthrough moments. And as much as I love that community that I spent time with at the Witches Walk, I realized I wasn't meant to go to the parade. I don't think I was ever meant to go to the parade. I think I was meant to go there and hold space for them, because they're all really wonderful people. And I just, you know, elevated the experience. It was an amazing experience for everybody, but like, I was just like another extra fun, cool thing that was there, you know, like having a Zoltar machine, but I was real. And, you know, and I'm glad I can do that. I'm glad I can do that to support my fellow witches, you know, like, I'm like, that's really cool. But what I realized was, I think the reason why I keep moving around, and it's like, I want to be part of the community, and I'm like, you know, why don't I fit in? Why don't I fit in? Why don't I fit in? Well, I realized yesterday that it's not that I don't fit in, it's that we're from different stock. Meaning, like, wherever I come from, I'm a really old witch, and I'm not just a witch, right? Like, I'm an earth angel and a light worker, and I think a lot of people feel that, you know, they feel that energy from me. And like when they said, oh, you're already one of us, we feel you, you know, like she was like, I feel you, I feel your energy or whatever. I took that as such a beautiful compliment, you know, and I knew that they meant it. And what I realized was that not all of them are witches, these people that come to these things, and some of them really believe that they are, like, you know, and it's the same issue that I have been coming up against for years, and why I feel like, that's why Spirit told me to wipe down my counters before I started this. Yum. Delicious. Because I kind of feel like if I was ever going to be part of a coven of any kind, like, I want to be part of their community, you know what I mean? Like, they're really cool, awesome artists and witches and magical healers and wizards and really cool fucking people, aliens, like, there's really cool people in there, Lemurians, you know, Atlanteans. It's a really cool community. But I feel like if I was ever going to join a coven, every single one of them would be like me. You know what I'm saying? And I realized, I think that's what I keep looking for, is like a place where I live and everyone, there's like a big community of people that are like myself. So whether that means I'm meant to stay here and bring in that element to the whole town, you know what I mean? Like Cassie Nightingale of The Good Witch, you know, like moving into a town and like, you know, I've always wanted to have my own shop, like Bell Book and Candle. I used to have a pop-up shop in Portland called Tallulah's Treasures. And I have a lot of ideas for a lot of names of stores if I was going to do that again. A lot of cute little clever names and stuff. But I feel like time will tell. And I feel like right now with Alder and I, why this is happening the way it's happening is because he needs to work through this on his own. All these years, the reason why I flipped out last year is because I knew deep down something was wrong. And I didn't even want to look at it because I was in enough pain and suffering with my mom and Bubba both dying. I was like, dude, and not to be mean, but of course, you know, like my human side was like, you know, typical, you know, you're such a man, I'm like, you're so selfish, you narcissist, right? Like, I'm hurting, my life is falling apart, so now everything has to be about you, so now you're going to go start cheating. I'm like, okay, you know, but that's part of it too. That's part of the breakdown of the divine masculine. And I realized that on Friday night, being around, there were so many men. And it was interesting because when I got there, it was like, there were more men than women. Like, I haven't seen that many men. In fact, I walked in and I was like, oh my Lord. And they were in costume, and some of them were like really hot, and like the costumes were really cool. And I was like, okay. And I was like, this is going to be amazing, because I was there quite early. And I have to say, what was so interesting, I've been thinking more and more about it. And there was this group, there was this ecstatic dance community in Portland, Oregon. I don't know, I'm sure they're all still friends, and they're probably, I can't remember the name. They were a big part of Beloved and Country Fair and all that. I can't think of the name of their group right now. They're really famous. But anyway, I became part of that community through my work, my work friends became my friends, and they were the ones that really helped me come into Tallulah and all of these things. I mean, I was Kelly when they knew me. And after, like, over the weekend, I've been, like, thinking about it, like, I'm like, what is it about? Because I was like, this community, these people remind me, I don't know what they remind me of, and I couldn't think of it. And then earlier today, I was cooking, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes. I was like, I was like, that's what it is. I mean, they're different, obviously, but, like, they're that group of this town. Do you know what I'm saying? And in a really cool way, because, like I said, I mean, I've moved 30 plus times and I've lived in 5 states, and I've been, over the years, been in different communities, different groups, different, through, whether it was through my partner's stuff or my work stuff, my own stuff. Because when I moved to Los Angeles, all of my best friends, or most of my closest friends, were my childhood friends. We all, like, one by one kind of moved out to LA some years after high school, and then we just had our own little community there, and we pulled in people that we dated, people that we worked with, that kind of thing, and then built up another community. But then as I started to branch out on my own and move to different places, it was just me, So I feel like the last time I felt like I really, 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 really belonged to any group was when I lived in Portland with my Portland tribe there. I mean, especially, my two, well, I used to call them my roommates, because one of them really was my roommate, but then the other one was our neighbor. But we literally had a wall that separated us. Her kitchen was on the other side of my bedroom wall. So, like, sometimes she would, like, I would, like, hear this. And she'd do it kind of gently because she didn't want to, like, wake me up, And then I'd go like that, like I'm back. And she'd be like, you want breakfast? She'd, like, yell through the wall. I'd be like, yeah, I'll be over in 10 minutes. She loved to cook for us. So, and it was awesome because we were all like, we all had, like, the craziest jobs, or worked for ourselves, or, and her and my roommate were both exotic dancers and burlesque dancers. And so they made their own schedules and stuff. And I mean, that world, that community, like, we all, like, the 3 of us were like sisters. And then we all had friends and family that would, like, navigate around us. But then, like, if we broke up or stopped talking to people, they, you know what I mean? But it was always, like, us 3 for years, like a really, really long time, like 5 or 6 years. And then I moved away. I moved up to Washington, and we kept in contact for some time, but I just started growing apart. From everybody. And that's what I realized in my podcast. I said that when I was like, would the real me stand up? Because after I left the party, I was, like, so confused because I had a good time, but I felt like I couldn't wait to get out of there. It was just like all these things. And it wasn't just that it was haunted, or that all the other things that whatever. I mean, I can get over all that. It was like, it wasn't that. It was just like, I just wanted to get away from the energy. I was just like, this is not my scene. This is not my energy. This, I don't belong in a bar. Like, I don't belong here. I need to get out of here. And then driving home, you know, Alder was as kind as he could be, and he was half asleep, and it was, you know, midnight, almost midnight. But even just trying to talk to him, it was just like, I really was just like, who are you? Like, it was, and I'm like, who am I? And I feel like this is going to be going on for a minute. So I'm not going to rush him. I'm not going to beg him to come home. I'm not going to give him an ultimatum. I'm just going to keep going day by day and trust in myself and trust in spirit. And, you know, I had a really cool conversation with my landlord, and he just got this amazing property that he's wanted for a really long time, and he's really excited about it. And I'll tell you guys more as it like becomes something, but I'm sending good energy. But I have, for the longest time, I've always felt like he and I were meant to do something together, or like have some type of connection. And it's like downtown Port Townsend. And I said to him, like, dude, I've been really wanting to move down there. And he's like, well, so like, you know, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, everything happens for a reason. And it's literally next door to one of my favorite stores in the entire town. Like, one of my favorite stores. It's like the coolest place and the coolest people. And so it's kind of interesting. There's just a lot of interesting things happening right now. And I really just want to go with the flow of it. I've been totally chomping at the bit to fucking write again. I need to get my cord for my laptop sorted out. And yeah. Things are a brewing. And now I'm excited too, because I feel like this week, or at least I feel like soon, now I feel like they're like, okay, now you can do your hair. But I totally understand like why they had me do it that way. Because I'm not saying this to throw flowers myself. It's just who I am. I'm just a natural like energy of like light. And so without makeup on, I mean, I curled my hair, but like I didn't even wear any blush or anything. Nothing, just literally my lip balm and a hat. I didn't wear a lot of jewelry. I just had like 3 rings on. That was it. I didn't even wear, I brought my medicine bag, but I didn't wear it. You know what I mean? Like it was very interesting the way it all like went down. But if I had gone there with, you know, my new fancy, you know, flashy purple hair and did my whole face up and the whole thing, man, men, like, it's just weird, man. I know myself. I know how it is. That's why my channels have been more like this. But now I'm going to be bringing it out. But I needed to like really love me for me again, and not the bullshit and not what somebody else thinks of me or what, you know what I mean? It's been a very enlightening and powerful experience. I've been pulling my power back and taking my power back for a long time. So anyway, I do love Alder. I know I keep sounding like kind of mean about it, but if you saw the way he talked to me and treated me, you'd probably be like, fuck off, dude. Like, what is wrong with you, you know? And I know it's not him. And when I say it, he'll kind of like snap out of it, and he'll be like, and I'll see him like try. But there's something, the reason why I feel like, and the reason why I've been hanging on is I'm like, I just think if Alder wasn't really still in there somewhere, he wouldn't be around. He wouldn't be trying. And I could tell he's trying. And I think at the end of this shadow, at that gunkiness. So I'm just going to let that be. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let that story tell itself. You know what I mean? I don't want to control that. It's not my story. But it is part of my life. And he is tethered to me. So I'm like, you know what? It's the same when I was younger. And my family would be like, you told people that? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it happened to me. And they're like, oh my God, what do people think of us? I'm like, I don't fucking care. I'm like, that's what happened. And, you know, it's like, I'm done covering for people, you know, like I'm done with that shit. I really am. Like, then behave better, do better. I'm calling it out. I'm going to do my best to be gentle and loving about it. That's still my little shadow right now. Because that's my job, is to be loving and kind. But at the same time, I ain't nobody's doormat. And I was trying to think of that line from Grease too, when she says, I ain't nobody's property or something. Goose, remember? Michelle Pfeiffer, when they're like, you're his property or something. She's like, I ain't nobody's property. I can feel the empowerment of women. And it was so awesome that one of the witches I love, at the party, she came as Wonder Woman. She's going through a divorce, and it's interesting because her story is so similar to mine. It's crazy. It's uncanny. But I was like, you go, girl. I'm like, that's right. I'm like, fucking Wonder Woman. She's like, I'm done. She's like, I've punched my card. Like, she's like, I'm done. No more. So, yeah. There may come a point where I'll be saying that too. I hope not. I hope not. If not, I will always cherish the beautiful memories with him that I know were real. I was there with him, you know? He can lie to himself, but can't lie to me. My heart was there. His heart was there. We were there. It happened. Whether he likes it or not, it happened. All right, you guys, until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. I'm going to go throw this tofu in the soup, and then I'm going to go lay down. I love you. Bye.